Mr. Jones, permission to call you Pete. Is it okay for our podcast?
Definitely.
Thank you. We must always ask that first. Pete, thank you for being in this podcast demo. I know it's slightly odd. I asked you before we started recording if this is your first podcast in class with lots of eyes looking. You confirmed. So both of us are holding that energy, but it's a positive energy. Pete, before we ask any questions, could you please introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and tell us where you're from? Is that okay?
Kia ora. Yep, no problem. So, ko Emirates te waka, ko Kadaridris te Moanga, ko Tairisi te Moana, ko Mersey te Awa, ko Anfield te Marae, ko the Cop te Hapu, ko Liverpool FC te Iwi. Ko Billy Parry taku rangatira, ko Ken toku papa, ko Jean toku mama, ko Graham ko Anibon toku tēna, ko Justine taku ho rangatira, ko Billy, ko Sam Ratau, ko Joa Katama, ko Matua Pete Jones, taku ingwa, no reina, tena koto, tena tato kato. I know you've heard that before, guys. That's my pepeha. I had to learn it when I first came to Aotearoa, and I had to make it work for my context. So, Pete Jones, married to my beautiful wife, Justine. We've been married 35 years. Got 3 boys, Billy, Sam and Joe. They're not boys anymore, they're young men. So Billy's 27. He's actually just training to be a PE teacher, which is how I started teaching. Sam, my middle boy, he's an architect in Auckland. And Joe, my youngest one, he's a chef. He was the one at 15. He said, "Dad, I'm leaving school." And I'm like, "No, you're not, Joe." And he's like, "No, I am. I'm not." I said, "No, you're not. It's illegal. You can't actually leave school till you're 16. So we persuaded him to stay on. He got his level 2, and then he went and did a chef's apprenticeship at Sky City. But I digressed. So Billy Parry is my granddad. And that's the connection with Liverpool Football Club. So him and my grandma, they used to live about 100 metres from the ground, and it still is my passion. It was his passion as well. He took me to my first game when I was 5. I took him to his last game when he was 89. I still have his season ticket in his name. It's like when you have a season ticket for Anfield, it stays in the family, not just for the life of that person, it stays for generations. My granddad was a bricklayer. He came back from the war, so he was in the Second World War. He was in the artillery. And when he came back, he said, "I've spent 5 years blowing things up." He said, "I just want to build." And then he was a bricklayer in Liverpool for 45 years, building houses. My grandma, she used to work on the ferries. She used to sell tickets on the ferries. The Mersey's big river in Liverpool, that's my hour. And they lived in what they call, I don't know if you've heard the term, but they call them terrace houses. So in England, it's where they build a long line of houses. They're all joined together, no space in between, tiny backyard, 2 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs, and the toilet in the yard at the back. And the big thing I remember with my grandma and granddad was when they joined the toilet to the house. So the bathroom, you had to walk through the kitchen to get to the bathroom. But special place, spent a lot of time there. Unfortunately, it's been knocked down now. Met my wife when I was at university. We were both doing what they call joint degrees. So I did physical education and music, and she was doing psychology and music. And so we met in the music lecture, and then we didn't see each other, and then we met. Anyway, we got together, and we're still together. So got married in 1990, so that was just a couple of years before you guys were born. So you can maybe work out getting on a bit now. We came over, bit of a story, we came over to Aotearoa. So I used to be a PE teacher, and the area of schools where I was working, there was about half a dozen schools all in the same area, and we used to play each other at sport. But when we first moved into that area, there was me and another guy who knew PE teachers. All the rest had all been in the area for years. So I kept trying to ring up to get sports fixtures because we didn't have sports goals. We had to arrange them ourselves. And I'd be like, "Oh, can we play at football? Can we play at basketball? Can we play at rugby?" And they're like, "Oh, no, we always play this school on this day and this school on this day." So this other guy was in the same situation. So we just ended up it would be a bit like us and James Cook playing each other every week in all different sports throughout the year until we could break this cycle. So we became friends. Then a few years later, he came out over to New Zealand and came to Manurewa High School. And I'd actually left teaching at the time. I was working in business, and I got a nice bonus one year. So we did well on our sales. So I got this big bonus, and we were talking, my wife and I, what we're going to do with it. And we said, oh, we're going to come to New Zealand and visit our friends. So we blew all our bonus on the flight, on the tickets, came with our 3 boys, and we had Christmas and New Year here, 2004-05. And we were just blown away with Aotearoa. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. And just the people, the cultures, everything about it. So we went home, we sold our house, we applied for a visa, didn't tell anyone either, because at the time I was working in business with my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. So we didn't say anything in case we didn't get the visa. And then found out pretty quickly that we got the visa. But the big thing about that was my friend who was working here, he rang me up and he said, Pete, are you serious about coming to New Zealand? I was like, yeah, we're up for it. We sold the house. We're definitely going to do it. He said, well, do you fancy coming back into teaching? We've got jobs at Manurewa High School. And I'd visited once when we were here on the visit, so I'd seen it, but it was during the Christmas break, so I didn't really sort of meet anyone. But I was like, yeah, up for that. So then I got a phone call from the principal at the time. It was a guy called Richard Thornton, and he rang me up and I had to do this telephone interview, and I had all my stuff laid out, all my CV, all examples of my work so I could check it. And this is going back. You guys, you don't know you're born with technology. So this is pre-Skype or Viber or anything like that. This was on the phone. And we had this chat on the phone, and he's asking me who I am and what about my family and my history and my work and everything. Then we're just chatting away, and I'm waiting for the tough questions about all the education stuff. And then at the end of it, he just said, I'll see you in January then. So that was my interview, and I got a job. And as soon as you get a job, your visa goes through. So we came over, and we literally got here 2 days before school started. And then it's been a massive journey at Manurewa High School for me. When I first came, there were lots of overseas teachers who were coming into South Auckland. They'd come and work here or at James Cook or Alfriston or wherever. In fact, I don't even think Alfriston was built then. And then they'd go off. They'd go South Island, they'd go Australia. They just were using it as stepping stone. And I was like, that's not okay. That's not fair. You guys gave me the opportunity for me and my whānau to be in Aotearoa. So I got to give back. So I'm still here giving back 20 years later. And it's been a beautiful journey. So sorry, that was a long answer to a short question, but there's probably some stuff in there that you didn't know, and maybe gives you some ideas for questions as well when you get to it. But yeah.
And if we think about, young Pete, lots of people in this space, kind of 13 to 15, can you remember what life was like for you? What kind of character were you at that age?
At 13 to 15, I was super competitive. I was into my sport and probably didn't have the balance right, but I was all about winning. So whatever sport I was playing, whatever I was doing, I was really competitive. And then the downside of that was I didn't like if I wasn't good at something. And so I'd stay low and keep out the way because I didn't think I could win. And that wasn't really the right attitude at the time. It should have been, learning's a journey. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to get things wrong. But yeah, I was super competitive. That's the for any of you who are into your sport, you've probably got that bit of an edge where it's, you want to win.
And did life kind of seem like easy? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, when we're young, it's easy to forget when we're older like us that we've kind of found our way. But I guess what would you say from young Pete? Do you remember some of the feelings about, man, what am I going to do in life? What's my pathway? How do I make my family proud, keep myself happy? What conjures in your mind when I talk like this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you know what the hardest thing? So, side fact that's relevant. I didn't. When I say I didn't go to a normal high school, I I actually went to a music school. So music and sport, phys ed, were my passions. And my dad encouraged me to, because he was into his music, he encouraged me to audition for this special school that was really focused on, it was like a music academy, if you like. And I wasn't as confident with my music as I was with my sport. I really enjoyed it. And I went for this audition to keep my dad happy. If I look back now, it wasn't really what I wanted to do. If it had been a sports academy, I'd have been all there. But I did it for my dad. And I didn't try too hard in the audition because I didn't really want to get in. And then I got offered a place. And then it was like, oh, I can't turn this down. Now, it turned out to be a really unique and amazing experience. And I got to learn heaps of things that I wouldn't have done. But I also remember going through that time, and I don't know if any of you guys have got it, but where your parents, when I say are putting pressure on your parents to have, they want the best for you and they have aspirations for you and they have ideas about what they think you could be. But it might not be quite the same as what you think. So my mum and dad were pushing me to, oh, you should be a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer. And I was like, I want to play football for Liverpool and score lots of goals. Our aspirations weren't the same, but I felt like I had to keep following what they wanted. And it came to a head when I did the equivalent of sort of at the end of school, like level 3. And I messed it up. And I know why, looking back now, why I messed it up. Because I messed it up because I didn't want to do what was going to come next if I'd have got my grades. Because I had a place at university to do law. I had 3 places. But I didn't get the grades. So then I took a year out. I worked for a year. And I reapplied. And during that year, I had if you like, I found my voice, found the strength to say to my mum and dad, I'm sorry, but I never wanted to do that. What I really want to do is I want to go and do a sports degree. So I went and reapplied and went and did a health and physical education and music degree, which were my 2 passions. And so my advice to you, if you've got other people telling you to do something or advising you to do something and you know deep down in your heart it's not what you want, find your voice. And if you're finding it hard to find your voice, find some good people around you, and that can be adults as well, who will support you. Because if you do something that you love and you really enjoy and you're passionate about, you've heard that phrase, oh, you'll never feel like you're working. And to a certain extent, that's true. Not totally, because life's not quite that good, but do something that you're really interested in, that you really want to do, that you're passionate about. And you can do anything. You can do anything you want to do. Don't ever let anyone say to you can't. The only person who will stop you doing anything is you. Believe and find your passions.
It's beautiful. So just a little putting it back out there now. Remember, we're coming around the space. I haven't chosen what side I'll start with. Probably over here. Good man. And I guess the final thing I want to ask, because I'm just about to push stop on here, is what everyone wants to know. What's it like being a principal? I mean, you're the superhero of the school. We all look at you on the stage guiding us through spaces. Is it fun? Is it easy? What's it like to speak to thousands of people?
Scary. I'm definitely not the superhero. The superheroes are you guys. The superheroes are the staff. We've got amazing people at Aotearoa who give you amazing opportunities like this. There aren't many schools where you can spend a wānanga learning how to podcast. And if you're really passionate about it, this could be your job.
Yep.
This could be the way that you earn your living and that you support your whānau. So pretty amazing. I'm very humbled and very privileged to be the principal. I'm very, very aware of the responsibility. And I genuinely, I never thought when we first came over from Aotearoa that we would still be here 20 years later at Manurewa High School, and I would be Tumawaki, I'd be principal. So I guess it's that, again, never, you've heard me say lots of times in that never don't go. So never don't go got us here, and never don't go in taking opportunities that have come my way at Manurewa High School have ultimately got me into the very privileged position of being principal. So push yourself, challenge yourself, step outside your comfort zone. You'll be amazed at what you can do. I never thought I could stand up and speak in front of lots of people. I never thought I could run a school. And we're massive, Cora. You know, we're over 2,300 students. We're nearly 300 staff. Our budget is 34 million next year. This afternoon, I'm going to finalise our budget with our finance manager. Like, it's mind-blowing, but it's also amazing. So I'm very privileged, very humbled, and yeah, I've been challenged all the way through. It's hard, but it's also, life at Manurewa High School, it's like a roller coaster. The highs are high, they're amazing, and then the lows can be tough, they can be hard, but it's actually the people, it's you guys, the staff, everyone working as a team, that's what gets us through.